Hi, everybody. I'm Edwina from Click Ad Agency. Welcome to another episode of our podcast, The Marketing Advantage. And today we have the pleasure of sitting and talking to the founder of Royal Alchemist,
Uh-huh.
Christin, right?
Yeah.
Bradley.
Yes.
Welcome. Thanks for sitting with me. I'm so excited because, like, as I told you in the messages, right? I think we've been following each other for like a year.
Yeah.
And so when I finally figured out the whole podcast thing, you were on my list of people to speak with because I just loved how like the aesthetics and everything about your brand. So I'm glad that it's finally happening. So let's just jump into the questions. I do a lot of background research before I sit with you guys so that I'm a bit informed, but I get to now confirm some
Yeah.
of
Yeah.
my assumptions. So I gathered from going through your content that you started your company in 2022.
20, 2023. I'm not a full year in yet.
Wow.
Yeah. I
That's
just started
amazing.
August. So August 2023.
Wow.
Yeah, it's taken off pretty quickly. So yeah,
Yeah.
it hasn't been a year. So August 9th will be the year.
August 9th. Oh my
Mhm.
God. That's one of my favorite person's birthday. Wow. I
Yeah.
don't know why I thought your business was 2 years old.
I know it seems that way,
The
but
growth has been tremendous,
it's been
right?
quick. Yeah.
But that's because it looks so good.
Yes, I've been in business before, so I've kind of taken those lessons and applied it to the second business. And so I'm able to kind of make some quicker progress on this business. That's why.
Okay. Well, kudos to you. So what was your motivation for starting your business?
So it honestly, it was never a plan to start Royal Alchemist. Like I said, had been in business before, and I took time to just put all of the business aside and just really focus
Mm,
on myself, my own self care. And I've always been into body oils and just
okay.
perfume oils, but I actually was using the Palmer's has a cocoa butter oil. And
Yes.
it's over the counter. It's really good. It's used to be one of my favorite oils.
Yeah. Shout out to the millennials. I think all the black girls we grew up using cocoa butter. I had the oil, the squeezy one, the one in the pot that was more greasy.
Uh-huh. But
Yes,
I looked on the back of that
I
label,
know. It's like a million ingredients.
and that's when I started looking. I'm like, why are there 100 ingredients in this cocoa butter oil? It's amazing. It smells amazing. It felt amazing on my
Oh, I
skin.
know.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I just started researching how to make my own because I was just tired of being using things that were not healthy for my skin, for my body. And so I just started researching how do I create my own oil. I was doing it for myself, and then it got in the hands of my family, my friends, and at that point, me being business minded already, I was like, this might be a profitable business. Of course, I can't be away from business too long, so I developed it into a brand. So that's where we are now.
So I know. Well, I remember when you first started following me, you had like tagged your personal profile. So I know you're a doctor. Are you
Yeah.
an MD or
No,
PhD? Because that probably helps, right?
PhD. Yeah. So
Right.
I'm a doctor of education.
Oh,
So
okay,
not
okay.
MD. No, not
No, I was
Lord
thinking
heal
maybe you were
me
like a
in
scientist and
medical.
you already kind of knew how to mix things. No.
Uh-uh.
Okay.
I know how to research. I am a researcher.
Mm.
So
No, that's
I
important.
That's very important with business.
Mhm.
So I will take hours and it doesn't even feel like I'm working. I will legit just dive into the topic and learn the topic. And that's kind of probably why I am where I am. But yeah, so I am a PhD to answer your
Okay.
question. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay. So you said a couple of minutes ago, like you're profitable, right?
Uh-huh.
So
Uh-huh.
do you run your business full time and like are you when you say you're profitable, does that mean now you're like making enough money in your business to be able to either live off of it and or like invest back into the
I
business?
could live off of it, but I'm not at a point where I want
Oh
to
wow.
fully be off. Like it's not like consistent enough where I know if
Mm,
I leave my job, I will be okay. I don't want to struggle and stress. And
no, no.
so right now I'm like, I'm funneling my money from my 9 to 5 to my
Hmm.
business. And
Which is
that's
one of the
also
smartest
probably
things
why,
you could do.
yeah, which is it's so smart. And that's why I'm able to also probably progress more because I have more capital to put
Exactly.
to Royal. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
you're not stressed.
I'm not stressed. The thing is though, when you leave your 9 to 5 and you only have this business to work toward or work on and make money, you're putting your all in everything. Like there's days where I'm like, today I just don't feel like it. But when you don't have that ability with not having a job, you're like, well, I gotta grind and I gotta get this done. And I'm not ready to kind of be in that state of mind right now.
Yeah, no, like you said, I mean, they say pressure makes diamonds, but it's still pressure.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about branding because I've broken out the questions into segments because I feel
Yeah.
like it's more organized. So why did you come up with the name Royal? Like, what's the significance of that to you? Because I kind of understand Alchemist, right? But what's the significance of Royal?
Royal really just simply was just luxury.
Okay.
Visualizing my highest self, like me being in my best self, really. It's luxury. I see myself as just somebody that's, I wanted the brand to really represent luxury, really affordable luxury. We see a lot of perfumes and oils that are really high end, and I wanted it to be like a luxury, affordable brand. So I just put Royal to me is luxury, and Alchemist obviously is the mixing of the oils, but specifically, so I use Alchemist because from the standpoint of transformation, it's really, I know people see alchemy, the mixing, but transformation for me is like my background is education. I'm a PhD. And for so long, I was always kind of known to be an educator, specifically a special educator. I spent 15 plus years in that career field. And for so long, I stayed in that career field. I felt like my spirit wanted to kind of branch out and do other things, but I identified with that one area. And I was not, I don't know, you're used to doing one thing and you're not really ready to break out and do other things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this is what people know me as. But
Mm-hmm.
I felt like God was like shifting me. And so I discovered that I can be multidimensional. And so that's kind of what I look at with alchemy and transformation. It's like when you're putting oils and things together, you're transforming it into something beautiful, something
Mm-hmm.
different from its beginning state. And then that's kind of how I look at my life. It's like I started here, but then all of these different experiences transform me into where I am now. And so that's kind of where the alchemy comes into play. It's like you're starting from one place, might be in
Mm-hmm.
your life, you're starting in where you might have been known for one thing a while back, but you're kind of your life, all the experiences transforms you into something new. And so with an oil, and then you're putting the fragrances together and you're mixing these oils, you started here, but man, you created something so beautiful. And that's kind of how I look at my life when I think about alchemy.
Wow, that's really deep.
Yeah, yeah.
But is that on your website? Like about it?
When I say a long list of things
Oh,
to do,
trust me, I know.
I can't keep up. I'm telling you, I almost want a video. Like I want more opportunities to explain my brand, more video, or me talking about it versus just like an about us page. You don't really get the real
I know.
impact or understanding of a brand.
You're using Shopify, right? Because now they have a lot
Yeah.
of themes where you could have video in there. And I agree with you. Video is so much more compelling and captivating. Like when I go on brands like who does it a lot? Like Neiman Marcus,
Uh-huh.
Bloomingdale, they're doing that a lot where you're shopping for a product, they have the static images, and then they'll have a video of a sales rep saying, hey guys, like this is the whatever. And it's just now it's like if I was on the fence about something, now it's like, okay, I want to get it because
Okay.
you can see it in real time. They sometimes will bring it close to the camera so you can see textures and colors. It's so captivating. So,
Top of my list. I'm preparing for a huge trade show in June. So I've really had to because it's time's coming quick and I'm like been preparing for that. But there's so much I know I need to do. Yeah.
because that was really compelling. Like now I feel like I understand you even more. But when
Uh-huh.
I went through your website in my research, I didn't get that.
I know.
That's why I
There's
was like,
my
wow.
whole website. I have a meeting today to discuss the transformation of my website. That's one thing I can check off my list, but I know that is something that I have to get on there soon. I do.
Okay, so at least we're on the same page with that. Because
Oh,
I mean, as I was doing my research, I was like, there's gonna be some opportunities where I could like consult for her, but I don't know if
uh-huh.
she wants it. You know what I mean? 'Cause
Yeah.
going back to you talking about the ingredients and how natural they are and so forth.
Yeah.
I know you're leaning a little bit more with the luxury thing, but I
Yeah.
feel like the real selling point is the natural organic
Organic.
ingredients. I feel like that's a stronger, more compelling buy
Love it.
because
Yeah.
luxury is everywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone's
Yeah.
like, and even there are a lot of brands that aren't luxurious, but they still want to position themselves as that. But if you say, hey, and I think also with the natural ingredient positioning, it gives you more of an opportunity to do what you're really good at, which is teach, to tell
Yeah.
people why all these other ingredients are bad for you. People will act more on fear than
Uh-huh.
wanting to be luxurious, right? Because it's just like
Yeah.
an instinctive human nature to like avoid problems. So if you say, hey, I know you love like all these other body products, but look at all these other ingredients, right? And that just comes to like the video editing where you could be like, this is all bad, or like this is what these things
Oh,
cost. And then we only use these, like if you can't pronounce the ingredients, you probably don't need to put it on your skin because a lot of people don't know your skin is your biggest organ.
yeah, you're so right. It's just understanding everything you're saying, but it to me it's like that. I know that
I have a million ideas. It's just like executing it.
it's executing and it's my money. There's so much stuff that's not my strong point. I know what I'm really good at, but then we're not good at everything. That's one thing we need to realize. If you're trying to build a brand, you have to understand that you're going to have to hire people to help you if you want to really excel and grow. So it's understanding that, but it's like everything is like in process for me. Like, okay, I got this done. Now I can
Well, you have somebody who's really good helping you with your content.
yes, I've been paying for that.
So for this would just be a matter of like I swear by the multi-slide posts.
Oh, the carousels. Yeah.
Yeah, the carousel post.
Mhm.
And to just have something like that explaining it and
Mm.
pin it to the top. Like it could be done in one day. Because you already have the visuals. Like you have the product images and
Yeah.
stuff. Like you
We
could
have a
just it's just
shoot.
a matter of like writing. But like this will be more like text. Like you'll have some images, but you want some text about like why you shouldn't be using if your body products have ingredients that you can't pronounce, these are the risks.
Okay.
And it's
Good.
just something simple and then pin it. Like to me, because I know like someone like me, that would make me move faster to sell than like, oh, the luxurious experience, self-care. I mean, that's great, but
Yeah.
it's not
The pain
fear-based.
point. So yeah, you're
Exactly.
speaking
It's not
to
a
the pain point.
pain. Exactly. It's
Yeah.
not a
And
pain.
yeah, I've got it all listed. It's social media for me is like it's a lot. It's a
Oh,
lot.
I know.
It's like Excel sheets of all the hooks and all, and I'm just like I get to a point where like I can't do nothing this week. I just because I got to focus on inventory. I got to focus. There's so much other movie pieces. I'm a one person show. I got
Hmm.
to set up for market on the weekend. Like it's just a lot. Yeah. I think I'm also so focused on the visuals too and how it looks.
Yes, you are.
All these things that keep me from moving forward to really like the messaging is really where I'm still not 100% clear on my messaging. So yeah, my social strategy right now is pretty, but my social strategy is not 100% yet. So yeah, that's where I know that I need some
Well, I'm
guidance.
glad you said that because that was just coming from a marketer, that was
Uh-huh.
one of the areas that I felt like you could optimize a little more. I was like, she has to be a little bit like stronger with the positioning and the messaging for like the pain points. Like, why is it good to use these natural ingredients as opposed to everything else that you're using? That because a lot of the girls are using like designer stuff because it's a brand name and it smells really good, but those are all like harmful chemicals that we hope down the line will turn into some autoimmune disease or like cancer or something
Yeah.
even
And a
worse.
lot of it really for me, I was more trying to lean more toward a fragrance oil. So using it as fragrance layering than really become a skincare brand. I don't want to be really become a skin known as a skincare brand. I wanted the brand to kind of lean more toward fragrance,
Perfume.
perfume, not skincare. Because I'm not yeah, it's an oil, it's good for your skin. Some people use it as a full body oil. Some people I use it as a hair oil. It
Hair
really is
oil.
a multi-purpose oil. Some people just use it as a perfume. They just use a little bit, put it on their pulse points and spray their perfume. So that's kind of why I'm like, I want to understand how to more position myself for a fragrance oil brand than really like a skincare brand. I don't want to really be known as a skincare brand. The thing is that it is a skincare where skincare meets fragrance. There's two. It's like it could be both ways. It could be a full body oil or you can use it as fragrance. So that's why I'm kind of like, how do I communicate that?
I think even as a perfume brand, you could still lean into the natural aspect
Ingredients.
of it. Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree.
Okay. So about the branding, like I love how simplistic and classic your logo is because a lot of people will jump into business and they get these crazy looking logos. So when I saw your stuff, I was like, okay, thank God. Like it looks refined and you could tell like somebody professional did it. So like was it your idea to keep it simple and clean or was it
I
the designer?
really, I didn't even think of honestly, logo was not my,
Really?
I did probably spend 2 days on a logo.
Even for a luxury brand? That's
I
interesting.
did not even, when I say royal was just like, I just put it together. I did not spend a lot of time on designing this brand. I have to be 100% honest with you. I didn't. I just love black and white. I think it's just like
Mhm.
you said, minimal. I
It's
just look like,
classic. Yeah.
yeah, when I built this brand, yeah, I wanted it to look like nice. And I just knew black and white was just simple, easy. I'll just start with it. If I need to rebrand later down the line when I'm making money, I can, but at least I can just get started with this. It looked minimal. It looked, I want to say luxury. I mean, it just looked like it fit the brand, and I just went with it. In my last business, I did a lot of overthinking. A lot of overthinking. I was spending money on things I didn't need to spend money on, paying people for what I didn't need to pay. And I said, right now, I'm just kind of doing bare minimal and not
You
over.
got to get out there and sell.
That's the thing, and just sell it right now. I think we get so stuck when we're building a brand. We get stuck on things that matter. But it's
Mhm.
like if you can just start and then start making changes along the way. And I promised myself I would do that instead of like trying to go full in all the way in at the very beginning. So the logo, yeah, it was just I just kind of just did what I felt like. Match.
No, that's a good point. I think I'm putting together a course right now, and I have a whole module about branding, and I'm like, hey, you just want to make sure it's good enough to start now, and then you can always optimize down the line. When I started Click Ad Agency 4.5 years ago, I'm like, my logo looked crazy. I paid $25 on Fiverr, right? And now, like, I think last year or the year before, my designer, he did what I have now for $600 when it made sense. But, I'm just a service-based business. When you're in like beauty, like a business that requires branding, like fashion and stuff, a lot of these girls that come out and their logos just were like colorful and gold and rhinestones. And I'm like, you're better off just doing something classic, like black
Yeah.
and white, classic font, because it's good enough for now. And like you said, you can always optimize from it later on. But it was just funny to hear you say, like, you took that and ran with it. Like, I didn't even spend 2 days on it. I
I
just,
did it. When I saw that question on the list, I was like, I don't even know how I would answer that because I legit just was just playing and I just put
so
it
you
together.
did it yourself?
Yeah, I just did it. I did it in Canva. I just like kind of designed it and then played with it with some of the letters. Italicized some of them, made it kind of like my own within like
Mhm.
a day, and then I was done. So
Okay.
yeah,
Wow. So that's even more impressive that you did it yourself.
yeah, I did. I really did. And I said, just move on. I had to tell myself, just move on.
Yep. 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 No, because it was good enough at that point to start.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we can transition to like the marketing content part. I know you said you work with somebody who helps you with your content, and that's one thing I did notice that obviously your content is super polished, clean, and consistent. So was that an intentional part of your content strategy, or is that just something that kind of evolved? Like, did you start off in the beginning like I want it to look this way and have this feeling, or is that something that just evolved as you guys started
It's
creating?
just evolved. Yeah, it really
Okay.
just evolved. I didn't really have a plan on how I wanted it to go. I wanted it to look good.
Right.
But then once I started creating with Ty, and then she understands my brand. So she can
Oh,
kind
is
of,
that your creative director?
yeah, yeah, Ty.
Okay.
She's awesome. We have a shoot next in June coming up, but she just
Okay.
gets the brand, which is very helpful. So she kind of just takes it and runs with it. So no, but I did know that I needed that visual sells. And online, if it doesn't look good, it's going to be hard to sell it. It's already hard to sell something that people can't touch, feel, and smell. So I knew at least the very bare minimum I needed it to visually be attractive. And so I did say that I not necessarily knew how I wanted it to flow, but I knew it needed to look good.
I think that's probably because you have the previous business experience. Because you'd be surprised how many aspiring entrepreneurs or new entrepreneurs that I speak to just via the agency, and they're trying to put out stuff. And I'm like, this doesn't look polished enough. And like during COVID, this was happening so much. Where like so many girls were like, I want to run ads, I want to run ads. And because I run my business ethically, I would say, I can't take you on as a client. I've gotten cussed out. People told me you need to get, one lady said, you need to get your S together because I wanted to work with you. I'm looking at her like, ma'am, I
Yeah.
need to get my stuff together. Like your stuff looks crazy.
You
And
still
I
have to
could,
do the part. Yeah. You still have
yeah, but a lot of people, they don't have that refined mindset. And so they're thinking like, I can just put whatever out. And if I'm willing to spend money on ads, it will sell. And I'm like, because you're
to,
trying to sell clothes or beauty or whatever, shoes, it has to look good. Not
yeah.
just the product, but like the presentation. Like some people were taking pictures in their houses or like it just, and then the house wasn't giving, you know what I mean? So
You can't, yeah, at the end of the day, like the customer has to be ready to run it. The ads is a whole different game. You have to be ready to, if your content isn't good, your
exactly.
ads aren't going to perform.
And I
You,
tell people you don't need to have a lot of money to look good. Like I put together a whole kid brand for my kids with $2,500 total. And the feedback was like, oh my God, this looks like Polo or Gap. And I'm like, yeah, because if you have the eye or you work with somebody who has the eye, it's not a big budget, right? It's a vision, right? It's like a taste.
Mhm.
So
And that's
yeah,
the thing. Yeah. Because I'm blessed to have her on my, to help me create, because that's not my strong point. So
yeah, but
she's,
you were smart to find someone,
yeah, yeah. I don't even remember how I met her.
probably
Yeah.
IG.
Did I meet her? I don't even remember. That's crazy. Oh, I met her at a market. She sells jewelry. And so I met her at a market, and then she said she'd create for me. So here we are. Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes you'll have those creative people. Like I know Kanye's crazy, but you have like someone like a Kanye's like you could give them $50 and they'll go into a thrift store and pull together a look for you that looks amazing because it's not about the money, it's about the eye. But most
Yeah.
importantly, like what the takeaway that I want people to get from our little conversation just now is that it's about you have to put your best foot forward. And if you
Yeah.
want your brand to sell, you have to make it look good. Like we're humans, we're shallow on a primal level. We're attracted to beauty.
Everybody's online. Everybody's on social. What's going to make people want to stop? I
It
think
needs
about
to look good.
myself. What's going to make me want to stop? Am I going to
Right.
scroll past this, or am I going to, is it going to catch my eye? So, yeah, we have to keep that
That's
in mind.
such a good question. When we had our Facebook group, I would always tell people because they'd be like, "Can y'all give me feedback?" And then I would always say, "Would you stop? Would you stop and
Yeah.
look at your own ad? Would you shop? If you came to your website, would you say, 'Oh yeah, I'm about to spend $100 on this website?'" And if the answer is yes, then I mean, move forward. I guess you know what I mean. But that should be your first question. Like, would I even shop here?
Yes.
And you be a
Exactly.
lot of people, the answer is no, but they still want to put it out and ask us, you know, why are they not shopping? So
Yeah.
anyway, we could just switch gears a little bit to ads because I know we talked about ads a little bit because you said you've grown so quickly. So what is the secret? Are you growing organically? Are you spending money on ads? If so, how much? Are you doing them yourself? Are you working with somebody?
Yeah.
What?
So I bought a course that, because I was running ads on my last business, but there were just things I didn't know. So I bought a course to just kind of help me see if there was something I was missing. The truth is, though, with ads, it's
Mhm.
hard. There's so
Mhm.
much strategy. I mean, just
Mhm.
because one person has their strategy doesn't mean that's the best strategy. So what I have been doing, which has been what's been helping for me. Yes, right now I'm not running any ads right now, but I
Okay.
turn those off. But what has helped me is that my primary strategy is building my email list, my email marketing list. So I was using ads to drive traffic to my website to get the email, then to sell to people through my email marketing. Is what
Meaning
it's,
they come to your website, that pop-up comes up saying
yeah.
save
Mhm.
20% or 10%, and then people will give their email.
So, but my pop up is it's enticing. So it's like you're going to get something free. You're going to get free samples. Like not a 10% off,
Mm.
50% off discount code, because
Ooh,
that's
okay.
you
I
want to
hope the
get my,
girls are catching that. I hope they'll
yes,
catch it. Yeah, something for free will
that has
always
been
get
helping
people's
me.
attention.
I got like 200 emails in like 2 days from an ad that I had free samples.
What was the copy?
So the ad was just free samples, and in small print it was when you purchase with the purchase of any body oil, but the bold was free
Check.
samples. So you
So
only
it was an
really,
image that says free samples.
yeah. So free samples at the top, and then the image was at the bottom, and then in small print was buy one get one free. So it looks like you're just getting free samples, but if you still need to read. So it was
Which people don't do.
people don't do. So, and then the ad copy did say something like, when you, with the purchase of any body oil, you get a free sample. You got to read through it to know how to get the free sample. But that helped me a lot. I was just running a traffic ad to my
So wait,
website.
I'm curious. So they clicked on the link, went to your website homepage, the pop-up popped up, and because I'm sure like all these 200 people, they didn't all purchase.
Not the first time.
Right. So
They
they
gave
just
email. So then they entered my flow, and my email flow strategically spoke to samples. So I created a flow in my email that for only though that segment of people that give me their
opted
email.
in.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that specific email list of those people got a specific entered into a specific flow. and they kind of enter my funnel that way. So,
Which said what? You can still
so
get your free stuff
the
if
first
you.
one would be like, buy one, get a free sample. It's like reiterating what the ad was. And then a day or two later, it was discover your signature scent or your signature oil. Try the sample before you buy the big oils, like that type of copy. So it's like enticing
Mm,
people to actually sample it before you don't have to spend the money up front, but you
mm.
can sample
Yeah,
it.
because I noticed on your website you do sell samples,
Yeah.
which is good.
So that's what people have been asking for samples. So yeah, so that's kind of what I was doing. My pop up is always something more than just a 10%, 15% off discount code. That is not it's
Convert that well.
effective, but it's
Hmm.
not as effective. So I knew that pop up needed to be more enticing.
That's interesting. No, that's really smart. I don't think I've seen that before. I have to go back on your website and look at it again because I just normally when because I knew I was coming to purchase, so I just was like I just clicked out. But I have to now that you've told me this little tidbit, that's a really smart strategy. If people are selling things like what you're selling, where they can easily give off, I mean, send people like free samples in connection to a purchase.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
so right now you're not running any ads, you're not doing any type of promotion, you're just creating good content,
Right
right?
now. And again, I have that big trade show coming up in June. I set a marketing budget every month. And so I'm like maxed out for my marketing
Oh, so the
budget.
marketing budget is going to the trade show.
Yeah. My trade
But
show
when
is
you were running ads, what was your monthly budget? I'm just curious.
It just depends. I mean, if I'm running a traffic ad, it could be like $20 a day. If I'm running a
Okay.
sales ad, it's definitely more than that. So at least as much as the product or more. I've gotten sales off of $5 a day.
Mhm.
You don't have to go that big on an ad budget. But again, it's a lot of testing. It's a lot of having your budget. You'll go through money quick on an
But
ad.
the $5 a day is on a tested audience with a tested creative, a proven creative, proven audience.
The audience side of the house, I haven't fully understood clearly yet. Do you test multiple audiences or do you test one audience? I've had audiences where I had a lot of people and a lot of different interests and behaviors and all those things
In the ad sets,
in the ad set. But then I also have made money on the lookalike audience and also
IG
retargeting.
audience.
Yeah, IG. Yeah. So I'll add a bunch of lookalikes though. I don't just test one lookalike audience. I'll be putting because in my head I'm like, well, you put multiple lookalike audiences, then your number grows and the amount of people you can attract. So,
Mhm.
but I know some people that might just test one. But in my head, I'm like, why test one? You can test all. So, but I'm not an ad person, so I've just been
Yeah. Well, it depends on the sizes of your audience. Obviously, if they're interest-based audience, meaning like
yeah,
audiences from Facebook, then you can it's easier, I should say, and it's recommended to test one at a time because guess what? If you get results, then you know exactly which audience it came from.
yep,
That's why
yep.
we isolate audiences. When you compound the audiences in one ad set, let's say you get 10 or 20 sales, you don't know which audience
Which one is
it
going
came
to?
from. But
Mhm.
for someone like you, maybe who hasn't been running, obviously you've only been in business a year, you're not even running ads consistently. Your retargeting audiences are probably not even big enough to test one by one. That's why you have to combine them.
Yeah, it's
So like
real.
5 or 6 years down the line, you could have a IG retargeting audience, let's say like 30 days, that could be big enough for you to just test it by itself,
Mhm.
assuming you get to the point where you're consistently running ads. No, but that's interesting. Your whole like growth strategy.
My strategy right now, I'm like, well, I'm just going to focus on driving people to my email list and just do the funnel based off of the marketing budget that I'm able to spend right now,
Mm.
where I am in my business. So
But that's smart because a lot of people would say the money is in the list, right? I interviewed last year another business owner who does like 1.5 to 2 point something million dollars. She does like the fast fashion, like a fashion Nova
mhm.
type business. And she was saying when she was playing with the idea of selling her business, the investors came and they were like, we don't care about your revenue or whatever. Like, show us how many emails you have
Yeah,
because that's where the value is. Like, we can sell to these people over and over and over. But if you told me, like, I mean, it's good to have a lot of followers or a decent amount of followers on social media because that's social proof, right? That further validates your brand. But we can't, I mean, we can take that profile and try to monetize it to a certain extent. But what if TikTok goes away, Instagram goes away, or they go down for two
yep.
weeks? Can
Because
we keep selling? So that's why we always tell people, like, it's all a whole system that needs to work together. A lot of people want to focus on one aspect. And it's like ideally, you should be trying to work on everything, right? So this is interesting. Your approach is just an alternative perspective. Like, okay, if you don't have the money, but I feel like you're in this position though because you have money coming in elsewhere.
Yeah.
A lot of owners are like, I need to make money, right? And so then the strategy is we have to grow your business and try and get you sales. But if
Yeah.
you're not eating off of your business, you can grow this other way that you're talking about.
People say don't run a traffic ad, just go straight to sales. I've had people tell me, oh, if you're trying to get sales, only run a sale ad, which makes sense. I hear them, but it's like, it depends on your strategy. For me, I just want to drive traffic to my
And your
store,
budget.
and your budget. A sales ad costs more than a traffic ad. You're spending way more.
That is the most expensive conversion ad on
Yes.
Facebook because that's the only ad that Facebook understands you're going to make money.
Money.
Every other ad, like even the other conversions ad, like wish list or add to cart, there's no guarantee that you're going to convert those people. But a sales ad, Facebook is like, okay, you made money. So now we're going to charge you the most for that. And to your point, it is a certain strategy. A lot of people will say that, especially during the pandemic, all these gurus and YouTube videos. And it's like, again, it depends on your strategy, depends on your price point for your product, and it depends on how much money you have, your budget, because you need a bigger budget to run sales ads. So, sticking on the topic of sales, I guess I had one of the questions I was going to ask you your most profitable sales funnel or sales channel, but it seems like for you, it's email, right? That's
Email.
probably where you're selling the most.
Online, it would be email.
Right.
Is my for online. In person is different, but online, I would say maximizing my email list has been very helpful. On Instagram too, I get a lot of sales from Instagram too, but it's between really, I would say email is top.
Yeah, it sounds like your strategy is optimized.
I have a lot of returning customers too. So
That's a good
the
sign.
past couple of months, it's been like at a 30% returning customer rate.
Wow, that's great.
High returning customer rate. So that's kind of also, I know my customers, they keep coming back within like maybe 2 to 3 months for purchase. So right now my goal is to get more customers and not it just being the returning this time.
So in order to do that, you'd have to turn the ad back on at some point.
That's the most helpful for me, is turning it or creating a bunch of content. I mean, that it is organic,
but how do you push out your organic content? Because the way how the algorithm is right now, kind of like Facebook is saying, you're gonna have to pay if you want new people to see.
That's it. So I'm just gonna pay Facebook to get it in front of who I'm telling you to get it in front of.
Right. Are you gonna bring them to your profile or do you take them to your website?
So from Facebook ads through the ads manager, I just only bring them to my website. I don't bring them to my profile.
Okay. So that makes sense. So speaking of marketing, getting new eyeballs, new customers, I noticed like some of your content, you're using influencers. Is that one of your marketing channels?
I didn't pay them to do anything for me. Those are people that have created.
So it's user-generated content.
User-generated. They created on their own. I had it.
Oh, and they were like, "Oh, I did a video," and you're like, "Oh, can
well,
you
they
send
just
it to
tagged me on their own.
Oh, they tagged you.
Yeah, they'll create a cute video, and I'll say, "Hey, can you send me this video?" So what you see on my profile, those people just said they got the oil and they created a video on their own. So that's been helpful too. Is that people have been inspired to create content for me or for it's content I can use. So I haven't
the UGC.
UGC.
That's interesting. When I saw that, I was like, "Oh, is she working with them?" I didn't think you had paid them, but I thought maybe it was like an agreement. And it's funny you say that because again, one of the pieces of content that me and my content guy are working on is like we were doing one of those little quick videos where we're like, "Hey, if you focus on building a brand, like a true brand that people vibe with because they really like you and they like the product and what your brand stands for, a lot of times, I mean, you're still gonna have to spend some money somewhere, but a lot of times they will create the content and like really do the marketing for you because they really like it that much that they'll be like, you know what, I want to take pictures and do videos with your product, and then they'll send it to you.
Yeah. Content for me has not been like, I don't sit on the weekends and say, I'm going to post all of this content. This is my content plan. I probably could do a lot better if I did that, but I'm so focused on so many other aspects of the brand. The content side has not really truly been, if I'm posting, it's like, I thought today to post something. It's not a plan. But luckily I have customers that are creating so I want to maximize on that to incentivize
I was
So
just gonna say.
yeah, affiliate marketing. Even I'm going to start a subscription for the oil now that I know that they're
Oh,
returning customers. So even incentivizing, using the subscription as a way to incentivize if they create a video, they may get a month or two free for off the subscription or something like
wow, that's a lot. That's quite
yeah,
generous. I don't even think you would need to do that.
maybe not, but
Maybe 2 free samples.
two free
I
samples.
mean, they're doing it already for free. So
Yeah. It's really the same couple that are doing it for me, but
yeah,
I
but
want
they
to
were incentivized. Now if you'd be surprised just if you tell somebody a free sample box, they'll be like, well,
yeah.
shit, I'll do
Or
5
sample
videos.
box. Yeah, I haven't
Yeah.
decided yet, but it will be something where I will be incentivizing. Right now, if I see that they're creating for me, I may provide them their own separate discount code, or I might say, "Hey, you
Mm.
earned 3 times. Thank you for your loyalty. Here's a discount code." But because I recognize my customers at this point that are returning, so I'll do that for them. But yeah, so I'm just gonna maximize on what's been working for me on the content side.
That's interesting. Looking at your content, you get the impression that like it's orchestrated, it's intentional, it's planned. So you're like saying the opposite.
Yeah, if I'm
Mhm.
releasing a new oil, that is planned. So my releases are my promo is
No, I just mean
my
like your content in general. It just looks so like polished and refined that it just seems intentional, like all around. So when you're like, if I post something, it's because I randomly thought of like, but that's the thing. When it looks good, you can get away with stuff like that.
yeah.
Because like it
I'm glad
doesn't
it
look
looks that
like it
way.
was just spur of the moment because it looks
Yeah.
good.
Thank
Mhm.
you. Yeah. I'm glad the content looks that way, but I invested in the visuals, so that's
Yeah.
probably why. I don't want to believe like I get it. The whole motto and everybody tells you social media is just where it's at. You have to be on social media.
Mhm.
I refuse to say that's the only way I'm going to make money. So I refuse to put all of my time just in social media. And so that's why I'm like, how can I still use social media? But well, I mean, what are we doing without social media? How
Paying
are
for
people
radio ads and TV ads and waiting 5 years to get to turn black and become profitable.
right? So, but for me, it's like creating an ad, pushing it through Facebook to make it go further than me creating something or posting all day, hoping it goes viral, creating content that takes hours to create
Mhm.
think hours to think about. It's not just even the visual, it's what is the message? Like there's so many pieces. What's the caption gonna be? Should I put hashtags? But for me, it's like, let me create this ad, which still has to be strategic, right? But I hope that it reaches more people than what Instagram's gonna. I get what you get, what 3, 4, 5 likes sometimes, maybe 20.
Exactly.
If you hit 40, man, that's a good post. No,
That
so
means you
it's
should
like
turn it into an ad.
that means turning this to an ad,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's like, and that's still using social media, but I just refuse to stay hours and hours on Instagram. As an e-commerce business, as a business with a product, how else can I get in front of my customer? And for me, it's also in person. I'm really on the in-person side. So right now, I'm doing the trade show in hopes to be in stores. So with retailers, wholesale, that's the route that I'm taking.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So the trade show is for they're
Which
here
stores
in
do you want to be in?
whatever. I mean, whatever boutique spas, boutique
Spas.
hotels,
I
gift
could see
shops.
spas.
Uh-huh. So
Oh,
there's a
okay.
huge trade show in
Once you
Dallas.
said that, now I see your strategy.
Yes. So
Because I was
that's
just
why I'm
like
kind of
in
leaning.
person, that's gonna be a lot of trade like shows and markets and stuff, but you're trying to get in front of the buyers.
Yeah, so more the buyer, the retail buyers. So actual
Yeah.
like stores.
Yes, I
So
mean like the buyers for these
there's
stores and hotel. Yeah.
yeah, they're boutiques, those things. So there's a huge event in June. It's about 5 days. So I'll be setting up a showroom and just making sure everything's in order for the showroom to attract the right buyers. So I'm going more larger, right? Larger inventory. So instead of like my one-off customers, retailers would probably buy what 50 to hundreds of order bottles. So I know that because I have returning customers, my goal is to have the returning retailers as well. But I'll be creating
Yeah.
more volume than just kind of one-off oils. So that's what I'm preparing for.
So you're an e-com business, but your strategy, your mindset is more of like a traditional, like you said, like what we were doing 20, 30 years ago.
Yes.
Yes.
Because
But it's
one of my
smart because
yeah.
those people order a lot more, right? They can move it faster. And then they're so meaning they're going to be able to order more. So ideally, you'll be in a position where you have both.
Yes. A lot of times people either go wholesale or they do online, but I'm learning online. So when I compare both of those, it's going to be really good.
That's
So,
amazing. You're the first person I've spoken to since I've been doing digital marketing that has this like more traditional wholesale approach. Everybody wants e-com,
yeah,
direct to
it
consumer.
makes sense, but there's nothing like
No,
being
but
in
that's smart.
front of the buyer. For
No, because
me,
they're gonna buy $10,000 at a time,
yeah. So
right?
there's like they see like Dillard's is gonna be there, Neiman Marcus is gonna be there, like high end, like the bigger stores that are. So yeah,
That's
that's the
amazing.
one.
If you can get into one of those, that would be amazing.
Yeah.
I did a case study on my page. I don't know if you've seen. I did it last year on Spanx, and
Oh,
that's
okay.
how she grew tremendously. I mean, she just hustled her way. I mean, this was 30 something years ago, right? So she didn't have an option, but she just hustled her way up and down the East Coast to different retail stores, talking to their
Yep.
buyers, trying to get them to put Spanx on the shelves. And of course, there was a bunch of like no's until finally somebody told her yes. But then they gave her the advance to order the first big order. Like the rest is history. By the time she was 30, she was on Forbes 30 under 30, like
Yep.
billionaire
It's yeah.
because of Neiman Marcus. I think it was, I don't know if it was Neiman Marcus or Nordstrom's, one of them. And of
Yep.
course, then Oprah, pre Ozempic Oprah, loves her Spanx. And remember, every
Uh,
time she mentioned something as her favorite product, it would just like if Oprah was still around and you went on there, you would be a millionaire literally in 24 hours. It was called the Oprah effect. And
oh,
after that, like she couldn't even keep Spanx on the shelf. Mhm.
the brands that you see in the store, they got in front of retailers. They they're
Mhm.
not
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
online. If you see big brands and you go to their Instagram, a lot of them aren't doing all this posting 100 times
Yeah,
a day. They're already a brand. It's because they're already
exactly.
in stores. A lot of times people in stores are now trying to figure out online. They're like,
Yep,
okay, yeah, it's either one or the other. I figured out, I
both.
understand online. So now I'm like, okay, let's pair wholesale with it. So
No, that's
yeah,
very smart of you. Like I said, most people they want the instant gratification of the order now. So
yeah.
that's why I think people aren't attracted to the traditional business route of like building and going in person and setting up trade shows and talking to people. Because a lot of times they just want to be behind the scenes, pressing buttons, spending money and getting orders. But this way, like you said, is I wouldn't say there's a right or wrong. It's just different. But with the wholesale route, you can definitely scale much faster
Yes.
and with less money. Because once you get into, like I said, Nordstrom, they're going to give you an advance. You just take some of that money,
Yeah.
fulfill the order, and you're
That's
done. Now they have to sell it.
and there's enough product margin, I mean,
Mhm.
profit margins. They could sell it even higher than what I want to sell it. I wanted mine to be more affordable brand, but for
Mhm.
them, they could even go a little bit higher if they wanted to. So the
Yep.
margin even makes sense
Yeah.
for
As
them.
long as you're making your money, it's like, here's
Yeah.
your batch next. Yep. No, it's a
Yeah.
really good strategy. It's just you have to have the time and the patience,
Yeah.
which most be willing to talk to people in person,
Like my weekends are spent at markets and I
talking
love
to
that.
people.
I love to be in person. I love to see their reaction, get their feedback to better the brand. You're behind a computer. If you're selling a beauty product and they can't touch it, you really have to be able to sell that thing online. You really have to.
No, that's a good point you just made. So I don't want to take up too much more of your time. But I do want to know, do you have a best-selling product? Like, is there one of your oils that just outsells all the others every month?
Right now, the oils that people love are golden hour, cashmere, and sweet vanilla. There's not just one. I mean, I see people just kind of like trying all of them,
Hmm.
but cashmere has been that's like the one of the go-tos is cashmere.
So would you
For
say that's the best-selling?
I could say it's one of the best selling.
Do you look at your numbers? Like, I guess, do you have like a spreadsheet or you have someone helping you just to see like what the total sell for each
Yeah,
product?
I've got it. Shopify does all that. I could pull it, but again, those numbers are me. They're yeah,
Similar.
it's very similar. It's like across the board for those. So
Oh,
cashmere
wow.
has always cashmere, golden hour, and sweet vanilla. I would say are kind of like those top three.
So do you have a bundle of those that someone could buy?
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Bundles, it'll come. Right now, the only bundles that I have right now are my sample oils. So I've bundled my top sellers in the sample oil. So you can get golden hour, sweet vanilla, cashmere, and I believe femininity in one bundle. So if you go to the sample tab, you'll see those.
Perhaps it could be a good idea to bundle your best-selling product the 3 bestsellers in a box and sell it.
Yeah. And right now, like even the packaging right now, I'm in the process of even figuring out packaging, all the things. I'm really
So you're
minimal.
changing everything.
Well, I'm not changing. I haven't started it. So right now,
No, I'm
like
saying
there's
you're
no, you don't,
planning to.
yeah, I'm planning to. So there's no like actual box for the oil. It's actually wrapped. It's wrapped in bubble wrap right now, especially with the oil. The oil
Yeah.
will spill. So there's a specific way I have to wrap the oil. So yeah, my just figuring out the way to wrap it in the box. All the logistics on the shipping is a whole another topic. But yeah,
I think there's something you can put around the rim of the top to help absorb.
yeah, so the little plastic piece.
Mm-hmm. I think when I've ordered oils from like other like bigger companies, I think that's how they do it.
Yeah.
But I was just talking from like a sales perspective. Like it would be as you were talking, I was like, why is she not
I,
those were her top three? Cause like remember when I came to your website, remember I was like, I don't know which one to buy.
I
And I
know.
even messaged you. I did a post in my group a couple years ago. I was like, if you're selling any type of beauty product or products that you can bundle. Like I'm a bundled girl because it takes the guesswork out of it for me. If I can
It's
come to your website and you're saying these are the top three, then yep, those are the top three that I want.
that's good to
Right.
know.
And I would just buy the bundle.
Yeah, it's good to know. Another thing I'll do sometimes, like buy two, get one free, so folks can actually like go and choose what they want. Even when I bundled the sample oils, I was like, I don't want to choose for them. I want them to be able to choose. But
No,
no, no one from
people
your,
want you to choose.
yeah, no one from
I
your
don't want to
perspective.
have to think.
Right.
You
That's
know what I
good to
mean?
know. That's
Yeah,
like,
like people are like, the more you do for me, the easier it is for me to sell, to buy.
uh-huh.
Because it's like you're like, oh, like I can tell people if you sell skin products, like bundle by skin type, dry, hyperpigmentation,
Okay.
or smells. Like, are you more like vanilla or fruity or musky? Bundle
Yeah.
it all up and just send it to me. Or I might even buy 2 bundles because I'm like, maybe I'm vanilla and musk or whatever. I can't choose.
Yeah.
I'll buy all
Good
6 and you put
feedback.
them in a bundle and then I can bring it home. And then from there, figure out what I like and then order individual bottles of the ones that I really like. But the idea is just to
Mhm.
like get that
Good to know.
AOV as high as possible. Because if they're coming to your website, especially you, they've already bought in, right? And I feel like this based off of how your business looks, you're probably attracting a higher end clientele, like at least like middle to upper middle class. So
Bundle.
they have the money. It's just up to you to like make it
Yeah.
easy for like I would make that would be my landing page image. Like try our bundle of our 3 best selling products. And then when they
I'm gonna
click
have
on
to
that,
think
they go
about
to
it.
the product image that has like all these
Yeah.
reviews of people being like, I
There's
love it. It
so
was
much I
so
have
good.
to do.
Now I'm like, add to cart,
There's
no brainer.
so much I
Next
have to do
thing
on
on
my
my
website.
to-do
I
list.
have a website review this evening of the with this lady that's gonna kind of and I already know what she's gonna tell me. I just did it to see if there's anything else I'm missing, but there's I have to upgrade the website visuals. I mean, there's a lot of things in this business I need to improve on, but I told myself
You
like
never
you
know.
do what you can one step at a time until you can actually like get to the place. So yeah. Yeah.